What if I told you the host of the World Cup isn't chosen by merit, but by a price tag? For 20 years, FIFA wasn't just a sports organization. It was a global enterprise of kickbacks and closed-door deals most fans like me and you were never told about. Most fans only see the goals, but the real action happens in the shadows. These are 3 moments FIFA wishes all of us would just forget. Italy's match-fixing scandal in 2006. In 2005, Italy was the mecca of football. It was the most glamorous league on earth. In the 2006 World Cup final, the dominance of the Italian Serie A was on full display. Out of the 28 players who stepped on the pitch for both Italy and France, 17 of them played in the Serie A. In fact, 8 of those players from both sides played for a single club, Juventus. Italy won that World Cup, stamping their authority on the sport, saying, "We're him." But while the players were lifting the trophy in Berlin, a massive investigation was dismantling the game back in Italy. This wasn't your typical match fixing. No players were throwing games or missing sitters on purpose. This was a systematic manipulation from the top. Authorities released wiretapped phone calls, exposing a black market on influence. Top club executives weren't buying players, they were handpicking which referees were reffing their games. They ensured that friendly refs were reffing their own matches, while the strict refs, or more biased refs, were assigned to their rivals to hand out red cards, yellows, and give out suspensions. Luciano Moggi, Juventus' general manager, was at the center of all of this. He was allegedly locking referees in change rooms and dictating the officiating landscape of all of Italian football. He was accused of some heinous things. The fallout was nuclear. While several clubs like AC Milan and Lazio were also involved, Juventus bore the brunt of most of the fury. They were stripped of 2 Serie A titles, both 2005 and 2006, and they were relegated to Serie B, which is the second division in Italian football. And to make matters even worse, they started their season in the lower league with a massive point deduction. Imagine if Arsenal or Man City were relegated to the championship tomorrow. Like, that was the scale of the shock. The golden era just ended instantly, like that. Global superstars like Lilian Thuram, Gianluca Zambrotta, and the Ballon d'Or winner Fabio Cannavaro, they all fled the country. Italian football, once was the undisputed king of the sport, saw its whole reputation shattered. Although it remains a top league today, many argue it's never fully recovered from the global prestige it had before the tapes were leaked. The FIFA corruption scandal. On May 27, 2015, while the world's football elite gathered at the 5-star Beau Lac Hotel in Zurich for their annual congress, they weren't woken up by regular room service. They were woken up by plainclothes Swiss officers telling them it's time to get ready to get locked up. In a scene straight out of a Tarantino movie, officials were led out behind white bedsheets to hide their faces. This wasn't just PR nightmare. It was the FBI pulling the curtain back on 24 years of systematic bribery, racketeering, and money laundering, totaling over $150 million. So how did the FBI crack a secret society based in Switzerland? They found an unlikely mole, Chuck Blazer. So Blazer was the face of American soccer. He was a man so powerful, he kept an $18,000 a month apartment in Trump Tower just for his unruly cats. But when the IRS caught him for not paying taxes on his commissions, he instantly went rat and became an informant. Carrying a wire inside of a keychain at the London Olympics, Blazer recorded all of his colleagues talking about all the bribes and the sold souls at the World Cups from South Africa all the way to Qatar. For years, FIFA president Sepp Blatter seemed so untouchable. He famously said, "The checkers are not in the hands of the president." But as the indictments piled up, the checkers didn't move. They were flipped off the entire board. Within days of the raid, the man who had ruled football for 17 years resigned in disgrace. The beautiful game had been exposed as a global auction house, where the highest bidder didn't just win the trophy, they bought the host nation. The 2021 Super League attempt. On a random Sunday evening in April 2021, the football world woke up to a nightmare. 12 of the biggest clubs in Europe, the Dirty Dozen, announced they were breaking away to form their own European Super League. The lineup was a who's who of giants. The English Big Six: Manchester City, Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham, and Liverpool. The Spanish Titans: Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Atletico Madrid. The Italian royalty: Juventus, AC Milan, and Inter Milan. And the entire conflict was money versus merit. This wasn't illegal, but to fans, it felt like complete betrayal. In Europe, football is built off of the pyramid system. No matter how small you are, you can dream of the top. If you lose, you get relegated. If you win, you rise. Simple. But the Super League was a closed shop, heavily backed by American owners and JP Morgan Chase. It aimed to replicate the same US franchise model that a bunch of the NBA, NFL, and MLB teams have. In this new world, these 12 clubs were permanent members. No relegation, no risk, just guaranteed billions in revenue, while the rest of the footballing world was left to starve for the crumbs that they left behind. It was an attempt to put the elite above the law of the pitch. But everyone revolted and showed that power really is with the people. The backlash was unlike anything in sporting history. It wasn't just pundits, it was everyone, from Roy Keane to even the British Prime Minister. Thousands of fans swarmed Stamford Bridge, physically blocking the team bus. The legend Petr Cech, goalkeeper, had to literally get outside and beg the crowd to let the players through so they could play their scheduled game. A bunch of Man United fans broke into the stadium and occupied the pitch, causing a Premier League game to be postponed due to fan interference for the first time in history. And less than 48 hours later, under the immense pressure of fans, players, and the threats of being kicked out of their own domestic leagues, the project crumbled. One by one, all the English clubs issued governing apologies. It was a rare historic moment that proved that even in an era of billionaire owners and state-backed clubs, the fans still hold the ultimate power. FIFA and UEFA may want you to forget how close they came to losing control, but the fans never will. I remember seeing on Sky Sports, Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville were talking about how they wanted so badly for everyone to come together. And if the football world did come together, we might be able to make something happen. And within less than 2 days, the entire footballing world came together so quickly to stop something that would be so illegal to the sport. All three of these scandals share a single, undeniable DNA: the overwhelming influence of money on modern football, whether it's the systematic bribery of the 2015 raids, or the power play of the Super League, or the referee manipulation of Calciopoli. The goal was always the same: to put profit and power above the spirit of the game. All of this just serves as a dark spot in history. When we look back at the timeline of football, they aren't just news stories. They're deep scars that damage the trust between fans and organizations that govern the whole sport that we love. They represent moments where the beautiful game felt like a corporate transaction. These moments cause forced evolution. However, history shows that injustice often forces progress. Calciopoli led to stricter oversight and referee assignments. The Super League revolt proved that fans still hold the ultimate veto over billionaire owners. And while these moments are dark spots, they forced FIFA and UEFA to take steps, sometimes willingly, sometimes kicking and screaming, to ensure that these exact events never happened again. FIFA might wish that we all forgot these scandals, but perhaps we shouldn't, because the moment we stop watching the watchers, as Sepp Blatter said, that is the moment that the next scandal begins. What do you think is the biggest scandal in football history? Let me know in the comments below, and if there's anything throughout this video that you think I could have improved on or I could have done better, also leave that in the comments down below. And if you made it all the way to the end, I appreciate it so much. I don't think anyone has ever made it all the way to the end of a video yet, so I guess, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see if anyone makes it to the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it lots. Bye.